So, y'all got the ball?
You're getting the time?
The timer is.
He's
On
the
the phone.
timekeeper.
And the
Have you read The Giver?
classic book. Not in quite a few years.
You were talking, girl.
I
The
know.
timekeeper. Bro.
Okay. I didn't say. Okay, so basically, right? Peter talks about Frida Kahlo. So his exigence, right, is talking about how like the struggles that she's been through and like how her art portrays like her true like feelings and emotions, and he wanted to like show like that like Frida Kahlo wasn't like some like just like some random person that's painting, because a lot of painters like back in the day, he mentioned how they were all mostly male, and he talks about like she was sometimes better than like most of the surrealists. So I guess he just wanted to show that she was like valid. You know what I mean? There you go. Oh.
So he shows her, like, he talks about all of her medical problems and stuff and like depicts her as a very sad person with a sad life. But if you look at her paintings, they're also quite sad. But if you look at like the vibrant colors that she uses and how she really uses muted colors but then integrates these vibrant ones, you can tell that she's passionate about one thing, and that's painting. And I think he does a bad job of showing that and only says that she's lived a sad life, dies of pneumonia.
So while I agree, I feel like that was kind of his point, because most of her paintings, they talk about like her experience. So he was like in the text, he was talking about how like when she was 18, she had a bus crash, like she was in a bus crash, and she had like spinal and pelvic damage. And then when she like started to paint herself, she started to paint herself in like that type of way. So like he talks about how like although she used like vibrant colors, most like her theme behind most of her paintings was about like the struggles that she's been through. And like near the end of the story, he talks about like how most of her paintings show like her hurt and disappointment. Because like for example, the one that I was talking about up there, it's like the one where she married a guy who was 20 years older than her, and she was like very unhappy because he was like mostly like focused on like his own self, like his own career, because he was also a painter. And so I feel like through like his like text, I feel like he's really just talking about like her background as a painter and like what led her to being like a painter and like what her paintings like really mean. And then I feel like he does this by using like pathos, because he talks about like her emotions and like her feelings and like how she was going through so much like struggle as like a young child, and then when she like developed into adult or whatever, she also like faced that many struggles. So I feel like he does like show all of these by using pathos, because he appeals to our emotions by making us feel like guilty and like bad for her. And yeah.
So what really caught my attention, besides like everything else said, was the diction that he used. Like he used hard and like fancy words to talk about Frida, like I cannot even pronounce this word, but in no log that read this go.
Ineluctable?
That word and like some other words that you don't really see like very.
What does it tell you about the audience for the New Yorker magazine?
So yeah, it's probably for like it's more educated, sophisticated like readers. And what I really like what the author did here, he doesn't just talk about Frida's painting. He talks about her personal life, like her sexuality, her political views. Like it says here that she like was involved with communism and all that. That she was just not like a simple painter. How do you say that? I don't know. And that she was pansexual and everything, which is like a taboo for most people. So I really like what the author did here with that.
I wanted to also mention like He also compares Frida to like a saint. He says like Frida has become the Carter Guadalupe, and he says like she's also like makes her an avatar of liberty. So I think that also like goes with the theme of what like Sarah was saying. Like he wrote this to show that like she not only was she a woman that was like doing like paintings when normally like most of the painters were men, but also shows like how, because he also mentioned this in the article, like how she's seen like as this as this character of feminism, you know, like trying to portray like her charisma and all that. And I just really like that because it's like at the time with Frida Kahlo was like didn't really see that about women, and I just think it goes with like the reason why he wrote it. You know?
I feel like his text just really talks about like articulating Frida Kahlo's painting. And he, like, for example, he talks about Frida Kahlo's self-portraits. So, like, as you can see, like, around the classroom, most of her self-portraits, you can see, like, she's, like, kind of, like, staring you, like, in the eye, and making, like, eye contact with you. And in that, he says that, like, she confides, but she won't plead. And so, like, I feel like he's showing that, like, she's not, like, weak. Like, basically, like, all of her experiences and her art is showing, like, how strong of a person she is. So I feel like that's what he was trying to show to his audience as well. And then I was trying to show like, and I'm pretty sure he was like talking about like her techniques. And so maybe most of his audience was trying to like understand Frida Kahlo and why she like does such like intricate paintings and like why she has like so many self-portraits. But yeah.
I like how he kind of explains that each painting that she did was for a reason. She just didn't wake up one day and did it. Like the two Fridas, she did it because she got divorced and like it was made to represent like one side of her was sad and stuff because she like Diego was the love of her life, but the other part of her was feeling like that she was getting back to her old self. Like the other painting that she did, let's say the hospital hearing something, I don't know. It's like when she had an abortion and she shows on a painting like every little aspect of what she felt when she was having that abortion. All her paintings were made for a reason because of all the trauma that she had in her life. So I really like how he explains kind of that in his text. So, yeah.
And I like that the group has been talking through him. Like I said, you did nicely on that.
When it comes to like what you said, like about her like facing like men and women in the painting world and how she was a woman, like one of her paintings was the portrait with the hair chopped off, and it was her in a suit like trying to conform, like because she was pansexual, like she was trying to be like a man and fit in with that and show that she can be not just like a girly woman. She does her own work and like has survived all this time, and Peter does show that she's a strong woman. And I think his message is that you can overcome bad times in your life and still be successful.
And you can also show how in other ways you can like explain to someone that you're different. Like the way she explains it by just painting it. When people like say it's your face, but now she just says it's her painting, and everyone has to like think like, okay, this looks different. She looks different. But if she's telling us something else, and why she's different.
Talk to girls, I agree.
I don't know what to say.
Okay, fine. Mercedes. You would say anything.
Basically, yeah, I think what Peter's trying to say is that she drew her strength from the painful experience she had, and she translated that to her paintings. Like, she went through a lot, and she's like, this does not make me weak, this makes me strong, and not gonna stop me from doing what I love and what I believe is right.
What I actually like too is that he talked about her husband and not just her, because that, like, her spouse doesn't define her or isn't like the main focus of her life, but it is a very important part of her history and like everything that happened to her. He was her professor, and then they got together, but then he was a cheater, and she was also a cheater and stuff. So, and that kind of shaped her, I guess. And they got divorced, and then they got married, and that has to have a toll on a person. And I love how he talked about it. So, yeah, and I like that he put it in there, her education, her like, how do you say that? Heritage, I guess.
Heritage?
No, like, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Heritage?
Yeah, like her,
Yeah, and you talked about like pre-Columbian folk art, how she
Yeah, that-
incorporated that
that.
with her paintings, yeah.
that's what I meant to say. Yeah, I guess.
Pretty cool. Your take.
You gotta talk, girl, go.
Bring us home, the final comment.
I agree.
Take
Oh.
I think somebody else mentioned it, like how in her paintings, like how the author says, like she uses a lot of bright colors and a lot of like symbolism for like Mexican religion and Mexican culture and all of that. But it also like you see like such like a bright painting, but then it's like when you get to know the meaning of it, it's like you're like, wow, how was she able to put all of this? And I think it's I don't remember the name of the painting, but I think it's maybe like how in one where like you can see like her spine, she's like trapped in like something, and she has like nails in her skin. I think I really like how he said like I think Maria explained like how he also explains the meaning of them, and I just really like the painting because it's like the nails represent like how many times she no, it's not an abortion, like she lost her child, like she wasn't able to get pregnant because of like her injuries for the bus crash. But I really like that. I just wanted to listen.
I'm just gonna like say the last thing. I feel like another part of the exigence was like to really like prove Frida Kahlo as like a painter. Because like although her paintings weren't so like I think he said like his paintings weren't like so popular at the time, but she was like present in most of a lot of museums, because her paintings like encompass like a lot of meaning and like thought like